Welcome back to the Daily Morning Sports Feed on Fiddler, with me as editor Olivia. Today, let's take a look at some notable politics news in the past 24 hours. Thank you for always supporting and accompanying us. Come to the following hot news. It's never, ever okay to be a racist, Rick Scott says when asked about Trump's personal attack on Elaine Chao. Nevada gubernatorial candidates seek distance from Trump and Biden. The first news. It's never, ever okay to be a racist, Rick Scott says when asked about Trump's personal attack on Elaine Chao. Republican Senator Rick Scott of Florida said Sunday that, it's never ever okay to be a racist, when asked about former President Donald Trump's personal attack on Elaine Chao, his one-time transportation secretary. Scott offered a measured response to Trump's mocking of a notable Asian American in the GOP. Trump, in a Friday night post on his social media platform Truth Social, directly ridiculed Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and Chao, the Kentucky Republican spouse, referring to her as the senator's China-loving wife, Coco Chao. It's never, ever okay to be a racist, Scott told CNN's Dana Bash on State of the Union, when asked whether Trump's comments were acceptable. I think you always have to be careful, if you're in the public eye, how you say things. You want to make sure you're inclusive. I hope no one is racist, the Florida senator added. I hope no one says anything that's inappropriate. In his Truth Social post last week, Trump said McConnell had a death wish for supporting Democrat-sponsored bills, something Scott avoided criticizing when asked by Bash if he was okay with it, though he later added, I don't condone violence. I think, what the president is saying is, there's been a lot of money spent over the last 2 years. We've got to make sure we don't keep caving to Democrats. It's causing an unbelievable inflation and causing more and more debt. It was not clear what bills Trump was criticizing on Friday, or what he meant as he accused McConnell of believing in the Green New Deal, a package of progressive proposals that McConnell blocked from coming to the Senate floor for a vote when he was majority leader. Scott, who chairs Senate Republicans' campaign arm, saw his own disagreement with McConnell spill into the public over the summer. Candidate quality has a lot to do with the outcome, McConnell said in August, before later describing the GOP's chances of flipping the Senate as a 50-50 proposition. Scott responded in an op-ed without mentioning the Kentucky Republican by name, writing, if you want to trash talk our candidates to help Democrats, pipe down. Scott denied last month that his op-ed was directed at McConnell. The following news. Nevada gubernatorial candidates seek distance from Trump and Biden. Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak and his Republican challenger Joe Lombardo both sought to distance themselves from the leaders of their respective parties in a Sunday debate. As they tried to appeal to the state's swath of independent voters, many of whom are frustrated by inflation under President Joe Biden, but also tired of hearing former President Donald Trump's falsehoods about the 2020 election. Trump is headed to rural Nevada next Saturday for a rally with Lombardo, who is the sheriff of Clark County, and GOP Senate nominee Adam Laxalt. The two high-profile races in the Silver State, which Biden narrowly carried in 2020, are considered toss-ups by Inside Elections with Nathan L. Gonzalez. When Lombardo was asked Sunday whether Trump was a great president, he said he wouldn't use that adjective. I wouldn't say great. I think he was a sound president. I think he had policies that he brought forward that were beneficial to the country and supported the country and moved the country forward versus backwards, he said during the debate hosted by the Nevada Independent. By contrast, Lombardo said, the country is going backwards under Biden, citing inflation. When pressed by moderator John Ralston, the CEO of the Nevada Independent, about whether he agreed with Trump's false assertions that the 2020 election was stolen and rigged, Lombardo said he did not and that Trump's rhetoric bothers me. It's not a minor thing. I think there is some modicum of fraud in any election, but shouldn't we have mechanisms in place to address even that modicum, and the confidence of the voter in the system? Lombardo said, agreeing with Ralston that Trump has undermined the confidence of voters but noting that he supports additional safeguards against fraud. You're never going to agree with anybody 100% in everything they do, he added in regards to the former president. The two gubernatorial candidates disagreed about how to conduct elections in the future, with Sisolak arguing that every registered voter should continue to receive a ballot by mail, a policy Lombardo opposes, preferring they only be sent to voters who request them. Amid a heated national debate over abortion, Lombardo tried to defuse Democratic attacks by saying that he now believes Nevada's current law, which protects abortions up to 24 weeks, should remain in place. Sisolak called out his opponent for changing his position over the course of the year. In May, for example, Lombardo told a columnist he would support sending voters a referendum moving the 24-week limit to 13 weeks, with his campaign clarifying to the Nevada Independent that he would give voters the ultimate decision. Lombardo said Sunday that he had thought more about that potential change and no longer supports it. It's codified law. There's nothing that the governor can do to change it. There's nothing that I can do to change it, Lombardo said. He confirmed that he does support parental notification laws with exceptions for rape and incest. I don't think any other additional legislation should go forward, he said. The Supreme Court's decision overturning Roe v. Wade has energized Democrats around the country and put some Republicans in a tough spot as they try to stake out positions that don't alienate moderate voters. Lombardo also said Sisolak has been skewing his record to suggest he would prosecute women that come into Nevada to get an abortion. That's another campaign commercial that is out there now, Lombardo said. That can't be further from the truth. I respect a woman's right for their own bodies, the sheriff said. Am I going to nip away at legislation that changes that? I have no intention. It's a vote of the people, and if the people want to change it, I will support that. It wasn't just Lombardo who was working to create some separation between him and his party on Sunday. Sisolak denounced billboards erected by a pro-Lombardo super PAC, Better Nevada PAC, that feature a photo of Biden and the governor standing next to one another with the words, "The Democrat Dream Team for Nevada." The signs are a trick by my opponent, Sisolak said, noting that he hadn't invited Biden to campaign with him in the final stretch. But he added that the president was welcome to visit the Silver State or any other state in the country. Joe Biden inherited a lot of problems from Donald Trump that he's working through, Sisolak said. These inflation situations are not necessarily his fault. I mean, he doesn't control the price of gasoline, no more than I control the price of chicken and ground beef at the stores. So I think that the president has done well with what he's been presented with. Sisolak noted that Biden has delivered billions of dollars to the state of Nevada to fix our roads, our bridges, our schools, our hospitals, create thousands of good-paying jobs, and I'm thankful for that. But Lombardo argued that the billions of dollars that the Biden administration has spent to try to stimulate the economy have been a major factor in driving the rise in inflation, a point of considerable debate among economists. Sisolak shot back that the sheriff hadn't been educated on the intricacies of what causes inflation, noting other factors like supply chain issues that resulted from the COVID-19 pandemic and the ripple effects of Russia's war in Ukraine. Lombardo pledged not to raise taxes if elected and accused Sisolak of being overly restrictive with school and business closures during the pandemic, which he argues have slowed the state's economic recovery. During the debate, he claimed Sisolak just solely relied on what Democratic California Gov. Gavin Newsom advised him. Sisolak said his primary focus at the time was to save lives, human lives, adding, "I think we have saved lives as a result of the things we put in place." And those are also the most outstanding news that closes daily feeds. Thank you to everyone for listening and following Fiddler channel. If you find the video interesting and useful, please click like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the latest political news.